I don't know if it's ever going to feel like it's over. I don't think it has to define me, but I definitely feel okay with it being part of my journey and the reason that I will continue to be the healthiest version of myself. Hi, I'm Leanne Hainsby and I'm a Peloton instructor, and I'm here with Women's Health UK, and this is My Body, My Story. Today in my body, I'm feeling like sparkly. I'm feeling sparkly because I've just done my Women's Health cover shoot, which was such a dream for me. And I'm riding high on the buzz of doing that. So I'm feeling like sparkly. That's such a good way to feel. And that's how I feel today in this moment. My whole career has been about moving my body, and I've been moving my body for over 3 decades now, and I do feel really in tune with my body and aware of my health. Being completely honest, in my 20s I massively took that for granted. I pushed my body to its limits. I would work out so much. I was a professional dancer before I was a Peloton instructor for 11 years, nearly 12 years. I have been dancing since I was 3. I danced 5 nights a week growing up. I then went to a performing arts college for 3 years. I really understand my body. Like, movement has been the kind of main thing that my life has been based around. And I love that. I feel like it's really been a gift to me. Actually being in tune with my body in the last year has actually saved my life. That's because in July 2022, I actually found a lump in my left breast, and after initially finding that and completely freaking out and actually being completely aware in the moment, that I remember screaming to my fiance that I had breast cancer. Something inside of me in that second was just adamant that it was breast cancer. I then went to see a private GP that same day, who actually told me it wasn't anything to worry about, that it was a hormonal cyst, and to come back in 28 days, roughly a menstrual cycle, to see if the cyst had gone away. But it didn't go away, and after a few CT scans and different scans and appointments, in August 2022, I was diagnosed with early triple positive breast cancer. My world completely changed. And then after a few different meetings with oncologists, my consultants, cancer nurses, I was then given my treatment plan, which was 3 months of chemo, 12 weeks of it, 1 dose every week, then a lumpectomy, into radiotherapy, and now I'm on a drug called tamoxifen, 2 different injections, one called Herceptin that I have every 3 weeks, and one called Zoladex that I have every 28 days. And I'm going to be having that part of the treatment for the foreseeable future. But the last 6 months, and actually the last year, have been a lot. And that is why I feel incredibly grateful to my body. I didn't always feel grateful. I felt like my body had failed me. But then when I realised what my body was going through during my treatment, and when I focused on nurturing my body and just working with my body to get through the treatment as best as I could, I've then found a love for my body, and I'll never put it down again. But during the main bulk of my treatment, I really needed something that made me feel like me. I lost my best friend a few weeks before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, so I had a really, really hard time, and I needed a focus, I needed routine, I needed to feel like me, I needed to get some energy out, I needed to channel some of my emotions in a way that felt positive and not destructive, and Peloton was that place for me. Initially, I didn't talk about my cancer diagnosis openly, but I did know that by doing my job, by doing my classes, that I would be leading by example, and I would be motivating and encouraging people that may unfortunately find themselves in the same position or a similar position to me. And I wanted them to have somebody. I wanted them to be able to be like, if she can do it, I can do it. And that was a massive driving force for me. Obviously, I'm looking fairly glamorous today, but during my chemo and during most of my treatment, I definitely wasn't looking like that. I think when you hear the word chemotherapy, you instantly think of losing your hair. The second I was diagnosed, actually, I remember saying to my consultant almost immediately, am I going to lose my hair? And it's a big one. I think because I was a professional dancer, because I've been in front of a camera from when I was about 3-4 years old, I've done shows, I've been on stage, I've done stuff on TV. My life has always been in front of a camera. I've always been very aware of how I look, and actually maybe a bit too obsessed with how I look, and I can say that with no ego now, because those things that I placed so much importance on, my hair, my lashes, my body, my boobs, my everything, all of those things actually became so irrelevant. All I wanted was to be well. But when I think about the initial kind of few weeks of chemo, I used something called a cold cap. It's uncomfortable, basically freezes your hair follicles in the hope that the chemo won't affect the hair and that you hold on to most of your hair. I kept 50% of my hair, I lost 50% of my hair. My hair regrowth now is wild. I choose to laugh about it because there's no point in, I have my moments, but my hair is very, very straight. My hair regrowth is very, very curly. When I wake up in the morning, you have to laugh because it's definitely a process, and what I'm learning is patience is key. But I did have the hair shedding. My hair was coming out in clumps over the course of the 12 weeks, and I continued to lose hair for about 6 weeks after chemo, which nobody really told me about, and I found that really, really tough because I was counting down the weeks. I was like 4 weeks left of chemo, 3 weeks left of chemo, 2 weeks, thinking that I'll stop losing my hair as soon as it's done, and it continued to shed for another few weeks after that, and I lost my eyelashes. I've actually lost all of my eyelashes twice. Then I was trying really, really hard to keep up appearances and putting pressure on myself to not look like somebody who was going through cancer treatment, and I was giving myself a hard time about it. I think as much as I was trying to be really, really strong and focused, I forgot to be soft on myself, and I wanted to take that away. I realized that I should feel really empowered by what I'm going through. I remember very, very clearly having an event and trying to put mascara onto no lashes and really having such a sad moment and wondering how I could make myself look like I had lashes or make myself look like I was well. And I just thought, I need to take that pressure away. I need to help myself. I need to accept that this is where I'm at and that there's nothing wrong with it. I felt this weight lift off of my shoulders. I just felt like I could be me, and I was already changing. I think losing my best friend, having a cancer diagnosis has changed and shaped the person I am anyway. I was always going to be a completely different person. I think anyone that has sat in a room and been told that they have cancer is always going to say that there is a person before that appointment and there is a person after that diagnosis. The things that are helping me feel strong now, and let me tell you, it feels amazing to say that I feel strong. There's a few things. My dog. So basically, this might have been the craziest thing that I did, but I think it's the best thing that we did. My fiance and I got a puppy basically the week before I started chemotherapy. We wanted a family, and we still will have a family when the time is right, but our plans have all been jumbled up because of my diagnosis and because of how our year last year went. And we really wanted to get a dog in the future, and we thought, why not? And it's been one of the best things that we did. Gave me someone else to worry about other than myself. It brought joy to our day every day. Sometimes our puppy was the only thing that brought joy to the day, but there was still something to be grateful for and still something to smile and love to be shared, and that was a beautiful thing. And she's now just turned a year. Her name is Jags. She's named after Mick Jagger, and she gets me outside every day, and I love her very, very much. So she's been a real mood booster, and that makes me feel strong. And I had a lot of therapy. I am a big advocate for therapy. I wish I'd done it sooner. I think I'll always be in therapy. I love the self-awareness that it's bringing to me, my life, the way that I show up to things. I think I'm able to articulate my thoughts and my feelings better because of the time that I spend doing therapy. I spend a lot of time with my PT, doing my strength training sessions 3 to 4 times a week. My treatment really took a toll on my body, and I really want to feel as strong as I can in my body, and he's looking after me and I'm looking after me in that department, and I'm actually starting to lift weights that are heavier than they were before. So it's so important to do that. It's so important to keep moving your body. It's really been something that's made me feel physically strong. And your body is your home. I'm trying to make it the best place to live in that I possibly can. I also stopped drinking the first day that I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me that it was a hormonal cyst. From that day, I'd had a really average glass of red wine the day before, but it was my last drink, and it's a personal choice for sure, but it's one of the best decisions I've made. I have better mental clarity, I'm more productive, I don't have anxiety, I feel confident just being me, I have better connections with people, I feel great, and it helps me to feel strong, and I wish I'd done it sooner. I'm not superhuman. I had days where I didn't get out of bed. I had days where it was all too much. It was completely overwhelming, and I just couldn't get myself together. But I also had days where I felt like I was really taking control of the situation that I was in, and I think a big part of that was that I focused so much on my nutrition, eating nutrient-dense foods, trying to nourish your body as much as you can, I think has made a massive difference to me and how I feel during treatment, and especially now as I'm building my body back up. When you've been diagnosed with cancer and you're showing up daily to go through your treatment, strength is the baseline of your day. You are showing strength just by facing another day when your world feels so frightening. And saying stay strong sometimes I just wanted to scream, I am strong, I am being strong. I've always preferred to stay focused. I think focus was a massive thing. One part of the treatment at a time, fully focused on wherever I am in that moment. That was something that served me really, really well. From a medical perspective now, I am cancer-free. I finished my main bulk of treatment, but there is ongoing treatment. The thing with breast cancer is that when it's over, it's not really over. And I think this is such a huge part of the journey that people don't really think about or they don't know about. And I really want to be open about this part. You expect chemo to be challenging. You know that there are huge side effects that come with chemo. You expect there to be a recovery after surgery. You expect radiotherapy to be monotonous and tough and uncomfortable. And then there can sometimes be this feeling that it's done, but reconnecting with your body, learning to trust your body again, being on this medication, still having these injections, still waiting for the next scan, the next appointment to be told that you're still cancer-free. This is still a really big part of it. And whilst I'm feeling healthy and whilst I'm focusing on my body being the best home it can possibly be, people can sometimes check in a bit less when you're at this stage because people will assume that it's done and you're through it, and you're not always feeling like that. I don't know if it's ever going to feel like it's over. I don't think it has to define me, but I definitely feel okay with it being part of my journey and the reason that I will continue to be the healthiest version of myself. My advice to somebody who may be at the very early stages of a diagnosis or early part of their treatment, just keep going. That beginning bit is really, really frightening, but lean into the people around you, build up your knowledge, and have one focus. Really focus on each part as you go through it. Everything all together is too overwhelming. It's really, really overwhelming. I recognise that feeling. It still makes me shudder a little bit when I think about how overwhelming everything felt when I looked at it as a whole. Yeah, I really, really hope that in some way that these words might help, because I know that they would have really helped me. The next stage of life and what I want to be and who I want to be is under construction. It's changing every day and not what life is all about. And if there's anything that cancer and loss and grief have taught me, is that we have one life. It's not a dress rehearsal. It's your life, and you just got to grab it and make it the best you possibly can. And whatever sets your soul on fire, whatever makes you happy, whatever feels right to you, just go into that with open arms and keep evolving and keep growing. It's an amazing gift. I'm Leanne Hainsby. This has been My Body, My Story. Thank you so much for watching.